Hello and welcome to my ever messy art area. My name is Keeks, and if you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. If you could please give me a like, I would really appreciate it, and if you like me enough, please subscribe. Today I wanted to show you my new book that I got. So I have been painting with Paint and Calm, which is very fun, by Inga. Oh, I still don't know how to say her name. We're gonna call her Inga B. And you can get these books on Amazon. And she has a second one, and it's called Wild Watercolor, and I am so fascinated with it. It is a beautiful book, and I would strongly advise getting this one if you like the other one, because the artwork in it is just gorgeous, and I love looking at artwork. But when I did Paint and Calm, that was the painting that I did a few weeks ago when it looked like this. So these beautiful leafy vines. And well, I thought it would be really fun to also maybe try watercoloring maybe try watercoloring an animal or something. Doesn't that sound like fun? It sounds terrifying, but it also sounds really fun for no apparent reason. But anyway, I really loved this book also in looking at it. And like, look at this, beautiful moths, got a giraffe, some birds. There's all kinds of stuff in here. And Inga also goes through different color theories and like how you should try to get to know your color wheel. Beautiful shades that you can mix together, like how to get skin pigments, like different things like that for people that are learning. And look, there's lemurs in here. There's all kinds of just cute stuff in here. And like I said, the artwork is absolutely beautiful. Like, look at that little ladybug. So cute. And I want to be able to do these. Like, this is also what drew me to this book, is I want to know how to do beetles like this, because that's fascinating. And look, these guys are constantly in my yard. These little Japanese beetles, they are beautiful. Aggravating, but they are beautiful. And I would like to be able to paint that someday. Like, that's gorgeous. I want to do it. Ooh, could this actually be our animal that we do? Oh my gosh, we should do this. This is what we're doing today. And what we're gonna do is just like with this color wheel, as I'm learning how to watercolor more and more, because like I said, after I fill this journal up, I want to come back and try this again and see if how much I've improved, even if it's like not a very long time, like even if I come back a month from now and do it. So maybe we'll do that with an animal too, and then I'll try doing another animal on this side. That would be really fun. So let's go ahead and get everything set up to do that then. So first of all, we're gonna draw our bug, but here's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna just regular draw it. I'm going to use these heat erasable fabric marking pens because I think that sounds fun, and I want to actually see what it looks like without an outline. So it does come with 4 different colors here, and these are also on Amazon. Devin Rex for Art gave me this idea because she did a watercolor that I watched. Ooh, I didn't realize that they came with those too. That's fun. But anyway, so if you use your heat gun on these, they just disappear, which makes them awesome. So it looks like you've got white, black, red, and blue. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the red and blue. And what I'll do is with the red, I'll pretend like that's like a fat pencil and do my outline with it. And then afterwards, we'll come back over it with another outline again. And we'll just see how it goes. But it sounds like fun. So we're doing it. We're just gonna be spontaneous. And I love spontaneous art. That's one of my favorite things about art. So yeah, so let's go ahead and get some ideas of what this little guy looks like. So let's see here. Well, first of all, we want a head. So let's go ahead and put that like that. And it's gonna be like a hump shape. And these have the consistency of a gel pen. So don't expect it to be like a Bic pen or anything like that. It's like a gel pen. And then there's gonna be 2 eyes. So we'll have one there, and one kind of around there somewhere. And then they've got like a little antenna thingy, Okay, we'll do that with the blue, or we add a little bit more detailing to it. Okay. So then the other basic shape is kind of another like half moon shape. So we're gonna go with something like that. And then this just goes across. And then, okay. So we're gonna want a triangle, it looks like, in the middle of it. Is that the middle? I don't think that's quite the middle. Here's what we'll do. We'll thicken it a little bit to fix it. Okay, it still needs a little bit more thickening. So we're gonna do it again. Let's do it one more time. Remember, all that's gonna disappear. That, my friends, is pretty darn close to the middle, I think. So we're going with it. Okay, and then we need to go down a ways. Whoop. And then this needs to be something like that. And that's basically the shape. Yeah, I'm gonna thicken this up a little bit because we actually need to go in between. Okay. And then now we need some legs and stuff, it looks like. So it looks like in the reference picture there's 2 legs here and then 4 legs back here. So I got that, and then something that looks kind of like an eyelash fluffer. You know, one of those mascara brushes, something like that, okay? It's very close to that. It's fuzzy. Then we're gonna need to do the same thing, but on the other side. Is that about the same? Yeah, it's close enough. We're fine. Some more essence of fluff here. Fluffy. Oh yeah. Okay. I'm digging it. And then now we need some middle leggies. So these legs are just a little bit stumpier. Something like that. And then some more fluffs. That might be a little bit fat, but we can fix it with the blue pen. Remember, this red one's not really the one we're going for. We're just trying to get a bug on there. Like, I kind of think this width would be a lot better. So that's probably what I'll do it in the blue. And I kind of like the idea of just like some cute little, like for it to have a little bit of sass in its feet. Like, make it cute. Okay, now we have some bigger legs. So these ones will be the girthy ones. There we go. And something more like that. And then again, we've got our sassy cute feet. Yeah. And then we need to do it on the other side. thinking about that. That looks pretty good. And then maybe we can do like some swatching at the bottom after we're done. That'd be fun. And I think I'm just gonna do the same kind that they're doing because, like I said, I actually think the Japanese beetles are pretty. They just suck. Because they always eat my apple trees and they're invasive and they shouldn't be here. But it's okay. If we're gonna look on the positive side, at least they're pretty. All right, so now we're gonna take our blue one, and this is where we're gonna actually like fix some of this. So if it didn't quite look right, now is where we're gonna zhush it a bit. The blue is what we're actually gonna go with. Yeah, so those looked pretty good. I'm liking that. And then let's see here. In the reference picture, this is actually kind of rounded a bit. Kind of like that. Yeah, something like that. I think that looks pretty good. And it's okay if this point's not really perfect. Like, I'm sure nature is imperfect, so we're good. We're good, girl. We got this. Okay. Oops. So I think that looks pretty good. Let's see here. So this time we're not gonna fully connect it. We're gonna go kind of like that. And then there's actually sort of something like that. Like, yeah, I like that a lot. Yep. Yeah, so it looks nice. And somehow we're gonna do this with paint to where it looks right. It'll be okay. If anything, we'll have the memory of what this looks like on camera if it goes horribly wrong. But I'm gonna trust the process. It's gonna be fine, guys. We got this. Do I have any idea of what I'm actually doing? No. But I'm gonna grin and just do it with confidence because it sounds fun and I want to do it. I want to experience how fun this is. So here's the other kicker. This is also a bit rounded. So let's do that. That looks pretty good. Yeah, this one's a little bit rounder, but maybe it's kind of at an angle, so I'm not really bothered by it. And then they connect here in the middle, kind of rounded. So see, we weren't even using that full triangle anyway. It's fine. And then this kind of connect like that. And then we'll just go all the way down for the wings, like that. And then they were already plenty round. I'm not really bothered by how they were before, so we're just gonna go back over that, like that. Oops, it's okay. All right, and then these are kind of rounded again. There we go. We're gonna go in for these legs. I'm gonna slim this one down a little bit because I don't really like what it did there. I think this side was okay, but this side we're just gonna slim it just a scotch, just a tiny bit. Other than that, I liked what I saw here, so give us a bit of fluff. And it's okay if this smears. I've kind of tested it smearing it before, and it really mostly does disappear. It's not a big deal. If it doesn't, like, glue blue actually is in this kind of Beetle's color because it's kind of like a bluish green. So I think we'll be okay. I'm not gonna be mad if it doesn't disappear fully, because we might not really even notice it. Okay, that's cute. I love that. Okay, these were good too. The only difference is I'm gonna go in with the thin line instead of where my biggest points were. So I liked the curvature here, and then we're just gonna go with that. There, like that. Oh my god, that's so cute. And then I'm gonna go down like this. That is so cute. Yes, I love it. Okay, we got it. Yes. And I'm sorry, in case you haven't noticed, I absolutely love insects. Inverts of any kind are definitely my friend. So I really love insects. I was actually a tarantula keeper for a long time. So yeah, I love them all. And I have a very good appreciation for them. Get that these are an invasive species. We don't want these in our yards, but they're pretty. Okay. And one sec, I'm just gonna get some water and then we'll continue with this, and I'll let this gel dry a little bit because I don't really want it smearing everywhere. Okay, so for this, I'm gonna be using my Paul Rubens because they're my favorite and I want to. I'm just kidding. I'm just gonna use them because I think their colors look like the color palettes that this person's using. So I definitely think that they would be a good choice for this. So now I just need to get a cleaning water and a water for actually using the watercolors to do. So let me just get that real quick. The other thing I'm gonna get out is this Roigra. It's like a tin that you can mix them on, mix your watercolors on. So I have that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and start looking at colors that I think are gonna work. The first color that I'm gonna go with is, I really like the look of the, do I want the tree green or the yellow green? Let's go with the yellow green. I want it to be nice and bright. So we're gonna live dangerously and go with that. So, get that, and I want it to be nice and bright so I didn't like water it down any. Put that there, and then let's see, I should have a pen around here somewhere. Woefully underprepared today, my goodness. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Found one. So this is yellow green. Ooh, that marker is almost dead, not that one. Let's try this one. Oh, that's much better. Okay. Yellow, green. And I'm gonna, let's move the waters closer to the paints 1 second. There, I think that'll be much better. Okay. So I'm gonna clean that off. And then I think I'm gonna use Hooker's Green Brilliant as the second green. So get some of that. So there's that one. And this is Hooker's Green. Hooker's Green. And then I'm gonna put BR for Brilliant. And then I need 2 blues. What blues do I use? It says for the blues it should be a cobalt blue and a primary blue. So I actually do have a cobalt blue. Let me get the cobalt blue next then. Get a paper towel to dry that off. It's probably really, really wet. Let's see. Yeah, it's a little bit more water than I need. Okay. So now we're gonna get the cobalt blue, which should be right before permanent violet. So it should be this one. Cobalt blue. I need to make that a little bit more swishier looking. It looks too flat there because the other ones are at an angle. Phew, excuse me. Ooh, my allergies today. Okay, that looks a little bit better. And then we need another blue. So it says that one should be primary blue. Let's use France Ultramarine. That could be a good one. Ooh, or Persian blue might be nice. Let me see them up close a little bit. Okay, so if this is our cobalt blue, I think Persian blue is what we should go for there. So that's next to Payne's Gray. So it should be this one. I need to be a little bit more picky with what I use my Payne's Gray on because I have used it a lot. Okay, so it should be this one. Ooh, that is a pretty blue. Okay. And that is called Prussian blue. Prussian blue. I should have written the blue under there. That's okay. And then we'll do our other color right here. And that's going to be, I think I'm going to use the Patchouli Red Ochre. Patchouli Red Ochre, because I don't use that one very often. Now, where is that? So that should be right before Yellow Ochre. Yeah, I've like not used that color at all. So we're going to use it. We need a little bit more of that in there, I think. We need more pigment. Yep. That's a pretty color though. So this one is Pozzuoli. P-O-Z-Z-U-O-L-I. Red Ochre. Okay. So now we've got our colors. So, starting with the wing cases, load up a mop brush with slightly tinted water and wet the entire area of the wings to show that there are two and not just one flat wing. Okay. So it says to do wet on wet then. Okay, let's do it. Hey, babe.
Which one of my hands look different?
The one that has your Spider-Man glove on it?
No, you have to say why is it like Spidey?
Why is it like Spidey?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Yeah. It's a story. Do you want me to tell me the story?
The story? Yeah, sure. Tell me the story.
It was a long time I made a bad machine.
A bad machine?
Yep.
What's a bad machine?
Oh, yeah. This is my bad machine.
Oh my. Oops. Okay, buddy. Go and do your Spider-Man stuff elsewhere, please.
That's
But I
Spider-Man.
love you.
That's fire number 1.
Yes, but that was really close to Mommy's face, and Mommy wasn't okay with that. Go on. I love you. Alright, so we've wetted our bug there. And then, so we've got both of the wings, and I made sure to try not to do the middle part so that you could tell that they were 2 separate cases. And then we're gonna start dropping in our yellow. That yellow green first. I'm gonna water it down a bit. There we go. And I'm just gonna start letting it be. Wow, that is a bright pigment. That is really pretty though. Oh no, I accidentally went over to the other side a little bit, but I'm not gonna let that bother me. I'm just gonna keep going. I did get a little bit thicker on one side, so I'm gonna kind of zhush it a bit. Something like that. Okay, so that's pretty. And then it looks like start spreading the hooker's green a little bit too. So we're gonna, oops. I'm gonna get some more water, and let's see, where was that hooker's green at? That one is right after emerald, so it's this one. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and just go down. Hey Ronan, can you please turn down Daddy's TV? Something like that. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Oops. Okay. So I've got the greens in there. And in the actual one, his doesn't go down as far as mine. That's okay. Then using the same wet consistency, get the cobalt blue. So then we're gonna go ahead and do that again. Let's see here. Okay. So let's get that cobalt blue. So let's wipe off the green. And my cobalt blue is right next to permanent violet, so it's this one. Oops, that is permanent violet. We don't want that one. Okay. So we actually want this one. We're gonna color in the rest of the case, it said. It's okay if we go out of our lines a little bit. We're not gonna be worried about it. It's not gonna bother a thing. And let's do the other side. This is going to be really pretty. I can already tell. I'm going to add more of the real blue pigment in there. Just play with where that's laying a little bit. Yeah, something like that. That's pretty. Ooh, and then we got to drop in the red. Yeah. Okay, so let's get that red. And I'm gonna put it here. And just kind of drizzle it in like that. That's cool. Oops, it's getting a little muddy there, so I need more of the pigment, I think is the problem. Let's just put it directly on there.
Hi, Mommy.
Hey, babe. Yeah, I think that looks pretty cool.
Daddy, I need your help.
Well, Daddy's gonna play what he wants to play.
I'm just
Can
gonna
you
help
figure
this
out
out
that's
a
hard
little
for
bit.
me?
Sure.
Just to get a little bit more squared up to the right shape. So if I drop a little bit of red on there, that's okay. Okay. So that looks pretty good. And then it looks like there's actually going to be red for the eyes up there too. And it looks like everything is wet on wet. So I'm just going to wet where these eyes are real quick.
It's my turn.
Daddy's taking back his controller. You go back to your seat, please.
I'm going to
Or
dip
here,
it.
I guess you can play.
Now it just seems to be kind of like free reign on what to do. So I guess I'm going to do these upper legs here. Oh no. Okay, well maybe that won't be a bad thing though. I think the rest, since this is like artistic preference, I'm just gonna go ahead and do on fast forward a bit, and then I'll probably just talk over it as I go. Hey there, me again. So at this point in the painting, I'm going to be completely honest with you. One of the reasons why I stopped recording at that point in time, at least with sound, was because things were not going the way that I thought they were going to go. And I was going through something that every artist probably goes through at some point in time in their art. And it's that feeling of, oh my gosh, what have I done? I didn't do something right, and now this is kind of going crazy on me. And that's exactly how I was feeling in this moment. So what had happened is I had tried the wet on wet technique, because that's what the instructions had said to do, and Inga's instructions were perfectly on point. One thing that I think I could have done better is, instead of using a giant 8 brush to do that wet on wet technique, I probably should have went with something smaller so that there was less water, because as you can see, my picture was really starting to puddle, and those puddles were freaking me out because it was not looking anything like how it looked in the pictures of the tutorial that I was trying to follow. And a lot of it is because I don't have that water control yet. But what I want to do is, I want to be fully honest about those feelings. And I also want to encourage you that if you're someone like me who, by the time you get into doing art like this and you start freaking out in the middle of your work, just keep going. Because I think that's the best thing that I could have honestly done. And it ended up turning out completely fine. Like, I tried different little things. Like, you can see me pausing to look at it. I wish at some point that I would have just let things fully dry. I think that probably would have been the smartest thing for me to do. But I am, a new watercolor painter. So I wanted to experience everything I could. And at some point I just said, you know what? This is too much water. I'm just going to wipe it up with a towel and see where it goes from here. And I was definitely panicking at that point because it did leave smudges all over my paper. But I decided to keep going. And I think that's what's important. And I made sure that, the mistakes that I did make, I at least made in multiple places so it looked intentional. But what I really wanted to tell you about this experience was, number one, this was the hardest thing I've ever painted. it was very difficult. I've never tried to watercolor an animal like this before, especially not fully watercolored like this. And the other thing is, you know, just make little adjustments and keep trying your best. I feel like I want to encourage someone that if you watch this video, the one thing I want to encourage you is if you're terrified of doing something, just jump into it. The worst that could have happened was this could have been a complete flop of a painting. It definitely had a huge ugly duckling phase, but because I continued to paint over it and just kept trying, I feel like I accomplished making a painting that I could be proud of, as silly as that sounds. And if you're someone who watches videos all the time and paints, you know, with other artists that you're painting, like maybe you're painting along or maybe you're just painting for the enjoyment while you're listening, you know, you're gonna run into those ugly duckling phases yourself. And I would strongly encourage that you just keep continuing and, you know, try your best. You know, in the original book to this, it said nothing about putting thick outlines like I did. And I decided to go ahead and do that because I felt like it was what my painting needed. And because I did that, I ended up finishing the painting, as you can see right here. But I could have just as easily done what I've done so many other times and just ripped up my painting and didn't continue. I've done that to so many pieces of art. So what I would like to encourage you to do is anytime you find yourself with a painting that is so complicatedly hard, just keep trying, because practicing is the only way that you're going to be able to move forward with it. And I ended up being really proud of this bug. I think it's adorable. Yeah, there's smudges all over it that I wish weren't there. But I think that if I continue with my original idea, which is what I want to do anyway, is once I finish with this journal that I'm doing, I'm going to try painting that image again, but on the other side. And I'm going to take what I learned from doing this painting and I am going to try my best to replicate it, but slightly better. And I would encourage you to try something the same, because this is a very messy painting. I'm not going to lie. And, you know, there are definitely still places I'm not happy with it, but people saw my painting whenever I posted on Instagram and they loved it. And it really helped encourage me and it made me feel a lot better about my own painting. So if you're one of those people that gave me a like or, you know, a kind comment, just know that did so much for me, because I was not feeling confident about this painting whatsoever. But I was proud of myself for finishing it. So if you watch this video, I just want to encourage you to keep going, because it can turn into something beautiful that people can still enjoy, and it's going to be good for you because you are going to learn what you set out to learn. So thank you so much if you stuck with me through this video, and I'm sorry that the end of it kind of became a rant about confidence and like keeping going, but like I said, I just feel like I needed to hear it myself, because mentally that's what I kept telling myself over and over again. So I wanted to keep this video as it was to encourage others to keep going so that you can keep learning with your watercolors. And I hope that I can inspire someone else to maybe get through that ugly duckling stage of their painting and just keep going for it until they finish, so that hopefully you can have the same experience that I did, which was ending up with something that you could still be proud of. So if you made it with me this far, thank you so much. I really appreciate you, and I just really appreciate you taking this journey with me. So thanks, and I'll see you next time. Bye!